This is really getting back to something I think COD's good at and Treyarch's good at. They're really good with campaigns, and I feel like in recent years, like everyone's kind of skipped the campaigns. Most people have they haven't been playing the campaigns for years. But I remember the Black Ops days, World at War days. I mean, that Call of Duty's one of the best things they're good at is they are good at conveying history, or at least in the past they were. And so like this is kind of going back in that step of realism. And what's really important here is I think this sells because everybody can kind of relate, and a lot of people on the older end, we were alive during when a lot of this stuff they're showing here was going on. So like it's very relatable. So I think it's a really good place to come from, and there should be some historical context. Like I think that's important, and I'm glad that they're doing that. Generally, this is like a rant channel, and I don't want to do that all the time. Like when something's good, I want to like be honest about it and say like that's kudos. Interesting. The one thing I would say is generally we're skeptics. Like I find it hard to believe that they're going to give us what we want here. Like, is this really like, going to be this kind of conspiracy / maybe mental thriller that they're kind of making it out to be? I do find it really cool that there's some American politics and / history involved here. It looks like this is going to be about WMDs in Iraq or, so, I mean, this looks like this could be pretty good, pretty interesting.
Yeah,
but
I feel like I'm in a dream. I can't believe they're actually going to touch on the truth. I mean, hopefully it's not satire and it's like, there's some actual factual information, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bill Clinton, you got Margaret Thatcher, you got Colin Powell, you got Donald Rumsfeld. I think a lot of people thought it was George H.W. Bush. I don't think that was the case. And then we're hearing rumors of, 9/11 and 9/11 mission and stuff like that. Like, that's really, really interesting. Like, holy shit. Like, these are concepts and parts of history that everyone is, like, heavily interested in. And I feel like conspiracies are kind of like the in thing. Like, I'm not going to call them theories because you should already know that a lot of these things aren't theories. So, I mean, I just hope that they lean into that and they give us what we want. And I'm not sure, like, what political aims, like, maybe the devs have with this game. I always feel like there's some sort of, they're going to lean in a certain direction, but this looks like this could get pretty political pretty quick. I mean, this looks like a big deal because like I sent the trailer to Eric or whatever, and he's like, he literally said, are they even allowed to have a trailer like that? LMAO. Like, I mean, so it's like, this is definitely something that, everyone's got some sort of vested interest in.
How much do you want to talk about? Because we can talk about how you can bring this right into the campaign and be like, right now, this, like he just said, like, how is this even allowed? I'm surprised that there aren't more. Like, you could talk about the fact that, I thought this was a liberal game. This is unexpected to see this.
Yeah,
saying stuff like that.
These games are made in California, so I mean, like, are we really going down the conspiracy route, or maybe it's one of those things where, oh, hey, it's not really a conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we just wanted you to think that there was, and maybe we wanted you to think the U.S. government was bad, but that's not really what we think. So I could see something like that, and that just goes along with what I was saying earlier. Like, I find it a little hard to believe that they're going to give us like what we kind of want, or what we, give us this image of something that a lot of people believe, like, hey, like, our government's up to something. Like, this isn't like weird. There's a lot of people in this boat. This is really getting back to something I think COD's good at and Treyarch's good at. They're really good with campaigns, and I feel like in recent years, like, everyone's kind of skipped the campaigns. Most people have they haven't been playing the campaigns for years. But I remember the Black Ops days, World at War days. I mean, that Call of Duty's one of the best things they're good at is they are good at conveying history, or at least in the past they were. And so like this is kind of going back in that step of realism. And what's really important here is I think this sells because everybody can kind of relate, and a lot of people on the older end, we were alive during when a lot of this stuff they're showing here was going on. So like it's very relatable. So I think it's a really good place to come from, and there should be some historical context. Like I think that's important, and I'm glad that they're doing that. I think we've skipped campaigns recently, a lot of people, and they've kind of skimmed over it, not really cared, and went straight to multiplayer, and that's whatever. But I mean, that's your preference. But I think that these games, to me, and just gaming in general, it's always been like campaign first. Campaign is always like the centerpiece of like what makes these games good. Like you could have a really good multiplayer, but if the campaign is shit, I mean, that's just kind of like the soul of the game,
Yeah,
and it's just like, if
if
that's
you
not
don't
good,
go that
then
direction, then you go Fortnite. That's what you get. So that's why Call of Duty's like Fortnite because they just copied the multiplayers that were popular. They were only multiplayer based, and there's a place for those. But when it comes to these Call of Duty and the roots of Call of Duty, it's a cinematic experience, and then everything after that, that foundation is built. The multiplayer after that.
yeah, the multiplayer is icing on the cake, and it's very integral to the longevity of the game. The multiplayer, like what people think about the game after, generally is to some extent is associated with the multiplayer. Like how good was it? How fun was it? Did you have fun with your friends on that game, kind of thing? Like that's part of it. But I would say the campaign is very much there with it. Like if the campaign sucked, you kind of just don't really remember it either. So it's good to have a good campaign. We know the multiplayer in this game is going to be interesting. They always do something that's interesting, or maybe it won't be our favorite, but it'll be good enough for us to play. But the multiplayer in recent years, especially, has just been overshadowed by all these cheaters that come online almost immediately when the game comes out, and it's just tainted like almost immediately. But what they can't taint is a good campaign, and so I think that this is their chance to potentially make a really good game apart from just having a fun multiplayer experience. And they got my interest. I mean, like if there's really like a 9/11 mission or whatever. I mean, me and my brother Daniel here have went down the 9/11 conspiracy rabbit hole. Like we know every fucking thing there is to know about it. Like it's just super interesting to me. So it will be quite intriguing to see what they put in here and what they leave out, or how political maybe they get with some of this stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe this is all just a facade and they don't really go that deep into anything, and it's not
I don't
really
know.
anything. But
The bar has always been it's been very low, so it shouldn't be very hard to raise our not raise. The expectations are already really low, so
yeah.
I mean, it's always been like that, which is amazing how they just keep disappointing because they keep bringing it lower and lower. But this looks like it's a step in the right direction. I'm probably going to be happy with.
These games are made in California, so I have to imagine a lot of those people don't really maybe buy into a lot of the conspiracy narrative or whatever that about some of this times in history and stuff. But I mean, maybe they're listening to a point where like, you know what, these are the people that play this game. Let's give them what they want. Let's go down that rabbit hole or something. I don't know, but I mean, to me, it looks really, really interesting. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see. We'll see how it's going to be when the game comes out because this evidence of your multiplayer being good is like how good can you write a story, and if you're good at that, I already have like all faith that this is gonna be a badass game. So far so good.
Yeah, I would say if you can write a good story, the multiplayer should be, almost the easy part. If you're creative enough to really write out a good storyline and good campaign, I would think that the multiplayer should be great. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is like I said, I mean, I do find it hard to believe. Like, is the U.S. really going to be the bad guy here? Like, because what it seems like with Saddam Hussein is, if you want the truth, look in the dark or whatever kind of thing. Like, we all know there wasn't WMDs or whatever. So it's like it's kind of it's just really interesting to see like what they actually end up doing with that. But
I've never seen a game like this that really tackles the conspiracies behind the U.S. government. I mean, we got a little touch of that in Cold War, I think, but this is gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would say, and like that one trailer the one trailer that really makes me think, along those lines is like the one where it was kind of like showing how things were, like happy like 90s or 80s family or whatever, and then like when you were like not awake to what we were doing kind of thing. Like this was always going on, without you guys knowing, even though you thought times were better kind of thing. So and that's like kind of how we all felt. We all felt kind of hoodwinked. Like I bet a lot of us trusted the government like 15, 20 years ago, because we didn't know any better. But now a lot of us do. So, yeah, we're excited for it. And, yeah, you were just talking about it like, like the bar's so low, like, good thing you're not.
Yeah,
your
good
heart's
thing
not
my
in
heart's
it.
not
Otherwise,
invested.
not in it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
It can't like break my heart by any means because it's already been shattered over and over again. So at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they
It's
could only woe
uphill
you at
from
this
here.
point, I guess.
Yeah, it's either
you would
good
think it's only
or it's
uphill.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's either good or I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to
So,
prove it. You just gotta prove it. And
Yeah.
We're not gonna know till the game comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope they go the direction that they appear to be going in, I guess is what we're saying. And like a lot of people are jumping up and down for joy, like, oh, this is it. This is, this is Black Ops. This is Call of Duty. This is everything we wanted, kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, it might be. It really could be. I mean, from the look of it, it really does look like that. But it's like, I don't know. The letdowns in the past have been excruciating. So I mean, it's not. It's more likely this will fall short than not. But I would say it's off to a good start. Yeah, if you like the video, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear what you guys think about it.